great day. It's kind of exciting day for us. We're making our announcement here for um, the 360 Lipo Contest. So I'm just making little adjustments here. So we're live here on Instagram, Facebook. What's up, Jennifer? Hope everybody's having a great day. So today I'm going to be announcing our new 360 Lipo Contest and answering any questions that you guys might have about it. Also, if you guys have any specific questions about liposuction itself, I'm happy to answer any of those questions as well. Um, and I also wanted to, I wanted to do something different. I like doing these lives, but I'd like to at some point, and you guys can let me know if anyone's interested. I'd like to do a consultation on someone live, and we can do it over the live, Facebook or Instagram or whatever it might be, wherever you guys want to do it. But really, what I want is for people to see what happens during a consultation and have the ability to ask specific questions, and if the individual would be willing to, kind of show their body, their concerns. And I know this is like it's public forum, and people may be embarrassed, so I don't know if this is really going to work out. But I think it would be a great benefit to all of you to see what we do on through a basic consultation, and I think it would kind of take away some of the anxiety perhaps that you might have in considering liposuction. So what's up, Audra? Jessica Stokes. Is there a limit on how much gets lipoed? So what's up, Lily? My top fans are here. I'm so happy. Let's see. So there was a question about, is there a limit on how much gets lipoed? I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but if you mean like how many areas, so there are limitations. So let me just explain that. There's a limitation of how much. Primarily, it's the real limitation is how much fluids we can use, because like any other medications, lidocaine and epinephrine, which are the medications that we use in the tumescent fluid, those can become toxic if you use too much of them. So it's important to stay within the boundaries. And now these boundaries were studied, and there was when they first developed the tumescent technique, Dr. Klein, who was the individual who developed that technique back in the 80s, he started doing testing. And so how he developed this whole technique was kind of cool. So this gentleman, Dr. Klein, he was a dermatologist back in the 80s, and during his residency, he thought, you know what, this is crazy that we have to put patients to sleep during liposuction. Wouldn't it be cool if we can do it while they're awake? So he thought, okay, well, what if I just use pure lidocaine? We can numb up a specific area on the body and see if we can do liposuction in that area. And lo and behold, it worked. It worked great. Now he used pure lidocaine, undiluted, and put it in a small area, probably about the size of this, just to really test it to see if it was possible to do this while the patient was awake. And he was like, "Whoa, this is freaking life-changing, right?" So patients, all the complications from general anesthesia would be null and void, right? So if we can do this while it's awake, it's amazing for people. So what he did was he started thinking, well, we obviously, it doesn't make sense to do it just on a small area like this. We want to be able to do it on a much larger area. So he started diluting the lidocaine just to see what would happen. And so we started adding saline into it, and did various levels of dilution to see how much he could dilute the lidocaine and have the patient still get the numbing aspect, but not have the complications. So he continued to dilute, and they found that there was a certain level that once the patient reached a certain level, the lidocaine becomes toxic. So as he diluted this stuff, he realized that he can dilute substantially, which would essentially spread the fluid over a much larger area. And so this is the magic of tumescent liposuction. So we can actually get a numbing sensation where the entire area is numb, where we use this very dilute lidocaine solution. However, now we're pushing the limits, right? So now we're doing large areas of liposuction while the patient's awake, and it's amazing. But now there's always the risk of doing too much, right? We use too much lidocaine. We push the limits too far. So the guidelines that they've given, we base it based off your weight. So ironically, heavier patients, we're able to use more fluid, more lidocaine, and suck out more fat. But that makes sense, right? We have larger patients, we need to get out more fat anyways. So the limitation is based off of your weight. So, like if you're the problem, this is the problem, when you have a very large individual, but they're short, their weight is theoretically less, and that means that we can use less fluids, which means that we're kind of limited on how much of the numbing medication we can use. So, short answer, there is a limitation. However, I'm very aggressive. We get a lot of fat out, a lot of fat, and we can make a huge dramatic change with single procedures. Now, if you want to get like full body liposuction, which I do have many patients that get, because it's like liposuction, I'm telling you, I wouldn't say it's addictive because that's a bad word, but it's really more like it's okay. I'm sure you guys can relate to this. If you've lost, all of us, right? We've tried diet, we tried exercise, and when you lose weight and you stay the same size or the same shape, okay? So let's say your problem is, this says poor connection. Okay, so let's say that you lose weight, but yet you still have these love handles, or you still have this belly that hangs over. You guys, you still have this chest, and it's like it bugs the crap out of you. So essentially, when you lose weight, you're just a smaller version, but the same shape. And that's got to be really frustrating for a lot of people. And, so that's the reason, that's the advantage of liposuction. Now, with liposuction, we can do full body liposuction and take the fat from everywhere. So when you realize that we can literally sculpt out the shapes that you want from your body, it's a game changer. It's not, then all these people that say, well, why don't you just lose weight through diet and exercise? It's not about weight. We're not taking weight off. Like technically we're taking the fat off and theoretically you'll lose weight, yes. But this is not about the scale. It's not about a number. This is about a shape. And we can create these amazing shapes with the 360 lipo, man. This is like, I love 360 lipo. And I've been doing this for like 12 years now, and it was I think 360 lipo, we've been doing it for maybe 6 of those years. But it's really, in this last 2 years, it's really gained speed, and I'm to the point now where I feel really, really comfortable, that we're getting phenomenal results, like amazing. I mean, swear to God, it blows me away every single day when I see what's possible with these patients. And for example, yesterday I had a patient, she was 350 pounds, like very, very, very large individual. And her belly was hanging all the way down, like you couldn't even see her underwear when she was standing up. It was hanging down below. And, for her, she couldn't even see her private parts. And she ended up, because of that fold underneath there, it sweats all the time. So that moisture, it gets, you get yeast infections, and it smells, it's irritated, it's gross. Nobody likes that. But this 350-pound individual, we took off a huge amount of fat, and the belly went away. I'm telling you, it was like magic. And she got off the table and she was crying because all of a sudden she could take a deep breath. All that fat that was on the front of her belly was gone. That weight was lifted. That weight that was put on her diaphragm, that every time she took a deep breath, it hit that fat and stopped her from breathing. These are the things that people don't really think about. These are the things that you think that liposuction is just cosmetic. And I got another thing coming to you. It's not just cosmetic. There's huge health change, dramatic results that people are, it's like the people that know about this stuff, it's changing their lives. And those of you that are still like, I'm not sure, maybe he's full of crap, maybe he's exaggerating. Well, you're gonna keep living with your problems. But if you want to change, and I'm not talking about like little change. I don't do little change. I don't like this stuff. Like, look, you look at other people's websites. They show before and afters of people that are like they're pretty much at their ideal weight, and then, like the small change. Like that doesn't excite me. I don't get excited by a little bit of change. I get excited by a huge fucking change. Like huge change. That's what we want. And if you want it too, 360 lipo. I'm telling you, it's going to. The coolest thing that people like, especially these big individuals, like when you get fat in the lower back, it makes your butt look flat. So normally you have this arch in your back. Okay, we call it lordosis. That's the medical term. Okay, so we have this arch in your back. But as you gain weight, that fat, instead of the arch, the fat fills out like this. And then that butt, which should be curved, right? Now that fat comes out and boom, it goes straight down. And so these larger individuals are like, I have no butt, and they want to get fat transfer. I'm like, no, you don't need fat transfer. You've already got fat there. In fact, you have too much fat. So, there's a new hashtag going around. They call me the booty pop doc or something, something like that. But the point is that the butt, when you take out that lower back, it's like the butt just pops out. And it pops out like it appears visually that you're popping out like 3 or 4 inches, and it depends how thick that layer of fat in the lower back is. But when you take it out, I'm telling you, it's magic. It is absolutely amazing. And and if you're an emotional person, you're gonna start crying. It's like I've had so many patients that they get off the table and they're shocked, they're amazed. It's unbelievable. And the coolest thing, let's see. The coolest thing is that, when you get the results, they're there forever. Okay, so this is a cool thing. We've been, I've been in business now. Let's see, we've been in the Vegas area for it's been since 2010. So it's almost 9 years, almost 10 years. And now we're starting to see patients that have had procedures way back when, and we're starting to hear some of their stories of what's happened over the years, and how liposuction has changed their life. But not only that, how the results have changed based off of fluctuations in weight, because everybody's concerned, like, I don't want to spend thousands of dollars and get thinner today, and not, just to, gain weight a couple years from now and, be upset and then the results be washed out. So that's not the case. With liposuction, we physically remove those fat cells, and the fat cells themselves, they don't regenerate. And I can speak from this personally, and I've had, hundreds of patients that have come back to me and told me exactly the same thing, so I know this from experience. The fat cells don't reproduce. Now, what does that mean? It means that those fat cells that you have from when you were a baby, those little tiny cells, as you get larger, as you gain weight, the fat cells are simply storage of unused energy. So when you eat the food and you eat too many calories are energy, when you eat too many calories, those calories then get stored in the fat cell. So it's the fat cell that you have then starts expanding, and they can get big. For anyone that's, you can go online, you can look at, surgeries and stuff like that. So when you cut into a person, you can open them up and you see the fat cells. On large individuals, those fat cells are literally this big. On a baby, they're microscopic, and you can't distinguish them from one another. So over the course of our life, as you gain weight, they store the fat there, they store the lipids, they store the energy in there, and then they just continue to swell up. Now, what happens if you remove those? When you remove those cells completely, there's no fluctuation anymore, because those fat cells don't exist. They're mine. So once we take them out, they're not going to fluctuate anymore. So now it is still possible, because we're never going to remove 100% of the fat cells. So it's still possible that you might gain some weight afterwards. You can always gain weight and you can always lose weight. That's always going to be a possibility. But what the patients are telling me is that, and from what I experienced personally, is you just don't gain the weight back in the same area where we do the liposuction. You might gain a little bit, but it's not nearly what it was before. So if you're one of those individuals that has the belly hanging over the pannus, I'm sure you hate that. I'm sure you hate it. Everyone does. I mean, I had my belly folded over my pants, and it bugged the crap out of me. And I was not even close to many of the patients that I deal with. So those individuals where the belly's hanging over 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches. If you want it to go away, it is possible, and you don't need a tummy tuck. That's the cool part. That's the coolest thing ever. You don't need a tummy tuck. With the 360 lipo, the pannus is going away completely. I mean, it blows my mind that it's even possible. And every time I'm able to do it, I'm like, oh my gosh. And it happens immediately. It's not like like you don't have to wait 6 months for results. You don't like the fat is gone immediately. You can see the results on the table every time. Every time. So any of these doctors that are telling you, oh, you need to wait 6 months to see, bullshit. Bullshit. If the fat's over there, it's not in your belly. So how could you not see results if the fat is gone? With my patients, every single patient looks different immediately. And you're going to, have some bruising, some swelling, things of that nature. So that takes time for your body to heal. But that's okay. You're smaller right away. And so mentally, the fat's gone. And you can realize that it's just swelling. You guys see any questions that need to be answered?
Not really. There's a lot of people saying that when they finally see you, it's separate, so they can be so happy when they might cry. Like that.
Okay. I don't like when people cry. I'm not like I'm not a terribly emotional person. Good or bad, it is what it is. But I'll give you all the hugs you want. But crying makes me uncomfortable. um, so yeah, but no, it's exciting though. I know each of you are looking for a big change in your life, and that's why. So this contest, let me, now that we got some people on here, so this contest is a 360 lipo contest, and what we're doing here is we're giving you the ability to, we're giving 5 gift cards away, and so 5 different individuals will win this contest. Now, it's not a free procedure, it's half off. So half off your 360 lipo, which depending on the individual could amount to over $5,000. So, and I'm not going to limit this, so whatever, 360 is all the way around the waistline. So if you're going to get 360, even if we have some very large individuals, so even if it takes 2 procedures, we'll give you half off. So it is what it is. I want to change the life of 5 individuals, and I want to make a huge, dramatic impact in these individuals, and I want to show the world what's possible. I want to prove it to you what's possible, because there's too many doctors out there that are so limited by their minds. They're limited by what they believe is possible. And here's the crazy thing is like they were just told it wasn't possible, and so they believed them. And that's what happened. That's like literally, that's why doctors are limited. They were told it's not possible, so they believed them. And now the difference between me is I don't believe anybody. I don't believe anybody or anything that anybody tells me. I don't believe any of it. I have to prove it to myself. I have to find out for myself. So, lucky for you, I figured out some awesome stuff. I mean, it's I've been developing my techniques for years, and I've been fine tuning. I've been working on it, and I've been testing. I've been doing different techniques on different individuals, and I got to be honest with you. There's been results that I'm not proud of, but that's part of the process. This is a practice. Medicine is a practice, and as we go on, we continue to get better. So when I look back at some of my results, I'm like, oh, I'm not too happy with that. I'm a perfectionist. I like things to be awesome. I like to be. I like it when people. I like it when they cry, just not close to me. I like it. I like to see the emotion. I like to see that when people realize that it's even better than they imagined. It's like when they realize that it is possible, and it's not just something you see on TV. It's not just something you see on my website. It's not just for someone else. It's for you. and it's possible for you. And the thing that really, you know, my purpose, my why, is I want to I want to change the world, and I want to change the world one person at a time. And this is how we do it. So through liposuction, when we make you smaller, it's going to do a few things. It boosts your confidence and it makes you more healthy. But when this happens, when your confidence boosts, you tend to inspire people around you, and you tend to motivate people around you because when they see the impossible happening and that it's happened for you, when they see that, it inspires them. And so through you, I can inspire others. And that's what gets me excited. And so that's why, like, small change, it doesn't excite me. Like, it doesn't change the world. But when you do 360 lipo and it completely changes your shape forever, that changes you. There's no way that it can't change you. And if I can change you, I can change everybody. Okay, it's one step at a time. And as you get excited, as you hear me get excited, you're gonna tell more people, and that's how it spreads. And so this 360 lipo contest is it's our it's our chance to spread the word and to get the information out there to let people know that if you want an hourglass figure, you can have it. If you want it, you can have it, and you don't need a tummy tuck. So don't listen to those idiots that don't know what they're talking about. Look at our results. They speak for themselves. Talk to our patients. You know, there's so many of our patients that are following us, like previous patients that are still connected with us on Facebook. I mean, there's probably quite a few of them on here. I'm not really following the comments here, but I mean, there's so many of my patients that they'll tell you, you know, you can connect with somebody that's not me. You know, don't believe me. Go talk to my patients. Talk to them. Connect with, I mean, it's like, this isn't like the 80s, you know, the 1900s when you have to like call people. No, you can connect with anybody. All you have to do is message them, make a comment. You know, you see someone here that says, hey, I had lipo, I was happy. Awesome. Message. It's that easy. Our influencers, Candy Lover, she doesn't mind. Message her. She loves talking to people. I mean, that's what she does. And you know, when you have when you get something that like changes your life, it's exciting. And you don't want to just hold it back to yourself. You want to share. Like, that's why I'm here live. I want to share this with the world. I want to share my ability because I've worked my ass off to develop it. And I've worked out really hard to be able to offer this to you. And so this is it. This is the opportunity. 5 individuals will win this contest. 5 individuals, not just one, 5 individuals will win this contest. The ability to get their hourglass figure. So I'm hoping that this will put it into a price range that will make sense for a broad range of individuals. So 5 individuals will have the ability to get this 360 lipo at 1/2 off. That's 50% off. Like, no one else is doing this. Hell, no one else is doing liposuction contests. So if you know anybody who doesn't like their shape, they're embarrassed to get in bathing suits. They wear baggy. You know what? This is a telltale sign. You wear baggy clothes, it's because you're not happy with your shape. Because I promise you, as soon as you get your shape, you're gonna get tight clothes. It happens automatically. Because you're like, why the hell did I spend all this money and I got this hourglass figure if I'm not gonna show it off? You want to show it off. You deserve to show it off. You went through all this trouble, spent all this money, and you got the results. You want to show it off. Now, downside, you might have to get a new wardrobe. But that's, you know, for many of you, that's going to be, that's exciting because you may not have been able to, you know, shop, get clothes off the rack. You know, I know a lot larger individuals, they don't fit into the box of normal clothing manufacturers. So especially the large individuals, they just, you know, the manufacturers, they have their box. They're like, this is the people, the majority of people will fit into this, and so this is what we put out. And so when you have the people on the larger end of the spectrum, they struggle. They're not gonna be able to find the right clothes, and it's frustrating and it's embarrassing, and it's like, You stop going shopping. You stop getting excited about looking good. And then when you stop getting excited about looking good, you start to deteriorate. And you're like, well, I'm covering everything up anyways. I might as well just eat what I want. I don't need to exercise because I can just cover it up. Well, there's consequences to that. When you eat poorly and you gain a bunch of weight, there's health consequences. And I think that, those of you out there that are, you're in your 30s and 40s, you're starting to appreciate some of these health problems. Whether you have diabetes, whether you have heart disease, whether you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, you know, it's a fact. It happens. And medical problems don't happen overnight. It's the many of these problems, they occur over your lifetime. And it takes decades for type 2 diabetes, it can take decades for it to develop. For heart disease, it takes decades for the plaque to clog up your arteries. But it's the day to day, it's the little things that you do today that will affect it in the long run. So when you get into your 30s and your 40s, you start realizing, you start becoming conscious, and you start realizing, like, if I don't stop doing what I'm doing, I'm gonna die. And so, for some of you individuals, you're like, well, I've died. I keep dieting. I barely eat. I'm eating one meal a day. And it's only a salad, and like I'm still 300 pounds, and it's frustrating. And so my answer to them is like, it's really easy to maintain. It's really easy to maintain. The problem is getting to where you want to be, then maintain. So if you're stuck where you don't want to be and you're just maintaining, you'll stay there, and it's really easy to stay there. You have to take drastic measures to make drastic results. So now, what I mean by drastic measures, maybe it's drastic diet. You can do that, but it's going to take drastic diet. You have to stop eating sugars. That's it. You got to stop eating sugar. So any sodas, any sugary drinks, candy. I know this is Halloween, so you probably don't want to hear that. So start tomorrow. But you got to change, and it's gonna change your life. So for a lot of people, the 360 lipo, how it changes your life is yes, it does change the way that you look, and it's gonna give you the shape that you want. But it changes your life because once you see the results, once you see that it is possible for you to have the shape that you want, that it is possible for you to look the way that you want, that it is possible to get rid of that belly, once you see that it's possible, it changes the way that you think. And once you change the way that you think, you can start changing the way that you act. So it motivates you to go to the gym because you're like, I can actually see a difference now. If I lost 5 pounds, I would actually see a difference. But when you're so big, you lose 5 pounds, you're like, that's a drop in the bucket, no big deal. I'm not changing my clothes. I'm not changing, nothing changes. And you're like, yeah, whatever. And you go back and you gain that 5 pounds back and you get another 5 pounds. And so that cycle, that up and down cycle, I mean, everybody goes through that. I went through that personally until I decided. And it's really, change happens in an instant. Most people say, oh, well, it's going to take forever to change. No, no, no. Change, it happens in an instant. As soon as you decide to change, that's when it happens. That's when it happens. So it's the people that say, I'm going to try to lose weight. There is no try. You either do or you don't do. There is no try. So when you're telling people I'm trying to lose weight, you're not committed to it. You got to commit. And so it takes that seriousness. It takes that like, I'm going to do this, and there's nothing going to stop me. It takes that, or else you're not going to get the results. You may be able to lose some weight, but if you don't have that ambition, you don't have that drive, that motivation to achieve your goals, then you're just not going to get there. You won't stay there. It has to be a lifelong journey, and you have to continue to stay on the path. When you veer from the path, you can't expect to get the same results when you're not doing the same things. So some of you might have, lost large amounts of weight only to gain it back. And that's frustrating. But it's all mental. The only reason you gain it back is because you fall back into your habits. And so most of us, this is a crazy thing, and I'm sure you've probably heard this before, that you've probably heard that humans only use about 5% of their brain. Now, I've heard that a bunch of times, but it didn't really make sense to me until I heard it said a different way. It's not that we only use 5% of our brains. We use our whole brains, except we are only conscious and aware of about 5% of our actions. All the rest of our actions, we've been programmed, and we just react. And so 95% of what we do, what we say, how we act, how we respond, our behavior, 95% of that is unconscious. And it's, once you realize it, once you become aware of your repetitive, unconscious responses to things, you can change. But you have to become aware of it. So when you decide, I'm going to try to change, and you give a half-ass effort, you will eventually fall back into your habits. When you stop thinking, when you start being conscious of making your effort to get to where you want to go, once you stop pushing so hard, those efforts, you'll fall back into your subconscious thought process and back into your old habits. And when you fall back into your old habits, that's when the weight starts coming back on. When you stop going to the gym, when you stop eating the right foods, when you decide, you know what, I've lost 20 pounds, I deserve dessert. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. And people want to cheat. Let me ask you this. When you got married, is it okay to go cheat just because I still like other people? Is it okay? If you think it's okay, I mean, it's okay. Maybe. Some people. But if you asked my wife, she'd say, hell no. And I'm sure, your husbands, your wives, your significant others, they would say, hell no. There's no cheating. I can't have a cheat day out of a month. No, well, I'm going to be married for 29 days out of this month, and then one day I'm going to have a cheat day because, we deserve it, right? I don't think so. I don't think so. But hey, guys, do me a favor. If you're on Facebook, if you guys can hit the share button here, so we can hopefully get some more people on, so we can spread this information. Now, part of this contest here, the 360 Lipo Contest, as I was saying, for those of you who just jumped on, it's 360 Lipo Contest. We're giving away 5 gift cards to 5 different individuals, and we are going to be announcing this the last 5 weeks of the year. So, new year, new body. 5 gift cards for 1/2 off 360 Lipo. And that could amount to over $5,000. Again, I'm not limiting it to any price. I'm just saying half off 360 Lipo. So if you're a larger individual, it's going to be, more of it's going to be free. So 5 individuals are going to get their life changed, have the ability to, at a substantially discounted rate, get what they want. And this is exciting. It really is. I mean, it's, my staff gets so excited when we see these patients, and it's funny. I mean, like I do this, and like I'm able to do this, and my employees, they get to hear, when people call back. I don't get to see many of that stuff. I don't do any of the follow-ups anymore, so I don't get to see much of that stuff. So the stuff that really, like, I get the gratification out of hearing people talk through social media. I hear the stories that people tell, people leave nice reviews, that stuff, all that stuff, that makes me feel good. And that's why I keep doing what I do. But you don't make everyone happy. That's not really possible, but I do the best that I can. And that's all we can ask for, right? We're going to do the best that we can for you, and fortunately my best is freaking amazing. But I'm not just cocky. It might seem that way, and maybe I am, but it's based off of experience, and it's based off of confidence that I've seen what's possible, and I've seen how it doesn't really matter how big you are. Like I said, I mean, I have patients that are 350 easily, and we're giving them. I mean, granted, it's a larger hourglass figure, but it's an hourglass figure. And so when you're that individual that has that like apple shape or that pear shape where you're carrying everything in the midsection, it's possible to have a flat belly. It's possible to have those curves on the side. It's possible to have your butt pop out. My favorite part. You know, when you take away the midsection, the 360 lipo, one of my one of my favorite things about it is that the butt does pop out. But just like how the butt pops out, when you make the front of the belly, like say I'm gonna turn from the side so you can see. Like say your breasts are here, but your belly's out here. Doesn't look right. So we want to make that belly smaller so the breasts stick out further than the belly. And so those of you that have that issue, you're gonna relate to this. You're gonna know what I'm talking about, where it just doesn't look right. When you wear your shirt, your belly sticks out further than your breast, so it's like the slope. Like these are the angles, these are the shapes that you're creating. So people see shapes. They see shapes. When they look at you, all they're seeing is a shape. And if your shape is round, that's what they see. And